Do you ever wonder what happens after death? Death, a topic that no one wants to think about, but is full of mysteries and questions. Is death the end? Or just a doorway to a new journey? And if it is a journey, are you afraid to step through it? In today's article, we will explore strange stories from people who have come close to death. These stories not only provoke curiosity, but also offer a different perspective on death, a beginning rather than an end. You will surely find yourself pondering this question after hearing the strange tales from those who have experienced moments near death. For centuries, humanity has always wondered what happens after death. Doctors and nurses working in end-of-life care facilities have witnessed mysterious phenomena, unveiling new evidence. Let's explore these unexplainable accounts together. One such witness, Julie McFadden, has experienced supernatural phenomena that science cannot explain. Strange signs, messages from the other side, will make you believe that death is not an end, but merely a new journey. Stories about encounters with deceased loved ones, brilliant lights, and even predictions of death will make you question: will we meet our loved ones again after leaving this world? We often think of death as an end, an inevitable conclusion. But is death truly the end? Or is it merely a turning point in the soul's endless journey? For years, working in hospices and end-of-life care facilities, doctors and nurses have witnessed countless strange phenomena occurring right before patients pass away, leading them to question whether there might be another life after death. One of the most remarkable phenomena many healthcare workers have observed is the noticeable change in patients' behavior before they pass away. Medical professionals refer to these as death signs, spiritual signals that patients exhibit during their final days. According to Julie McFadden, a hospice nurse with years of experience, there are clear signs indicating when a person is preparing to leave this world. She shares that in their last days, patients may begin to see deceased loved ones or feel the presence of spirits waiting to greet them. These visions bring patients a sense of peace, indicating that death is not the end, but rather the beginning of a new journey. Among the hundreds of patients Julie has cared for, one young man's story left a deep impression on her. He was not yet 30 years old, but he had been diagnosed with an incurable disease. Despite his youth, he spent his final months in hospice care. What stood out was his strong spirit. Even though he rarely had visitors, over time, he began to share his fears about death, constantly asking Julie what happens when we die, and whether there is an afterlife. One evening, as Julie was driving home, she suddenly felt an unusual sensation. as if someone were calling her name. She immediately thought of the young patient and sensed something was amiss. At that very moment, she heard his voice in her mind. If I had known death would come this way, I wouldn't have been afraid. Just then, her phone vibrated, and she received a notification about the patient's passing. The strange feeling she experienced was his message to her, sent in his final moments. This experience not only changed Julie's perspective on death, but also sparked her curiosity about the spiritual signs preceding a person's passing. From then on, she delved deeper into these mysterious phenomena, becoming increasingly convinced that death is not the end, but a part of the soul's eternal journey. Julie is not alone in witnessing these strange occurrences. Many patients, in their final days, experience mysterious signs that even science cannot explain. One of the most prominent signs is the appearance of visions, images seen by the patients, often of deceased loved ones, or spirits waiting to welcome them. These visions usually occur weeks, or even months before the patient passes. One patient shared that in her final days, she frequently conversed with someone she claimed was her mother, who had passed away long ago. She described her mother in these visions as a hazy figure, but with a powerful, invisible presence she could clearly feel. Strangely, in these visions, she did not feel fear, but rather peace and happiness. This sense of calm convinced her that death was not something to fear, but a transition. Other patients have described seeing bright, radiant lights emanating from an invisible door, leading to a new realm. These lights not only brought them comfort, but also a sense of serenity. These patients often felt as if they were entering another world, a place they had forgotten, yet felt familiar with. Some patients could even describe detailed scenes they saw in their visions, such as lush green fields, bright houses, and familiar faces of deceased loved ones. These visions were not hallucinations or drug-induced symptoms, but real experiences felt by the patients. Julie McFadden shares that throughout her career, she has encountered many such cases, and all of them have strengthened her belief that death is not the end, but the beginning of a new journey. In addition to these strange visions, there are other signs observed in patients nearing death. One such sign is the death gesture, actions performed by patients in their final moments. One peculiar gesture is when patients raise their hands, as if reaching out to embrace someone. Julie once witnessed a case where a patient sat up, raised her hands, and said she was opening the gates of heaven. This action sent chills through everyone in the room, but also made them realize that death holds a profound meaning we have yet to understand. Another phenomenon is the death stare. Patients often gaze intently at a corner of the room, as if someone is standing there, even though no one else can see anything. This gaze is distinct, not one of fatigue or dreaming, but a look of certainty, as if they are seeing something significant. Possibly a deceased loved one or an angel waiting to welcome them. These signs not only make us feel curious, but also open a door to profound questions about death and the continuation of the soul. Do we truly disappear forever? Or is there a realm where we reunite with our departed loved ones? Stories from those who have been near death always give us a sense of something beyond the limits of science and reason. Many people who have experienced the final moments of life share that they saw strange images, felt the presence of beloved souls waiting for them, and even heard messages from the other side. These are not fabricated tales, but true experiences of those closest to death. One touching story I want to share is about a woman who had been battling cancer for a long time. In her final days, she no longer had any desire for this life. Everything seemed meaningless. But then one night, she suddenly felt the presence of her mother, who had passed away long ago. In her mind, her mother smiled and said, "Don't be afraid anymore. I am here with you, and you won't be alone." This moment brought her an unusual sense of peace. Before she passed away, she smiled, waved as if bidding farewell to a loved one, and said her final words, "Mom, I'm coming home." She left peacefully, without a trace of fear, and her family knew she had found rest in her mother's love. Another story is about a middle-aged man who, before dying from a heart attack, often dreamed of a radiant light. He described the light as a door opening, where he felt absolute love and peace. He also said he saw a loved one who had passed away long ago, waiting for him on the other side of the light. This loved one, with a gentle face, welcomed him and said, "Don't worry. We will meet again." When he woke up, he felt relieved, no longer afraid of death. And when he passed away, his family saw no signs of pain, only a gentle smile, as if he was stepping into a world he had known for a long time. Doctors and nurses believed it was a sign that he had reunited with loved ones who had passed away. And for him, death was not an end, but a reunion. Stories like these make us ponder. Is death a transition to another world where we will meet our loved ones who have gone before us? These experiences are not imagined, but are what thousands of people have witnessed and shared. One notable story I want to share is about a terminal cancer patient She had endured long days of pain, and every day she felt despair. But one day, while lying in her hospital bed, she suddenly saw a woman appear in the room. This woman was her mother, who had died when she was very young. She realized this was not a hallucination, but a real encounter. And her mother smiled kindly. Her mother said, "You have been so strong. Now it's time for you to come home." Those words brought her peace, and she decided to let go of all fear. She passed away in serenity, and her family felt that her mother had been there, helping her through the final moments of her life. Are our departed loved ones waiting for us? The big question we all ask is, are our loved ones who have passed away truly waiting for us when it's our time to go? The answers from these stories suggest there is a strong connection between the physical world and the spiritual world. Those near death often describe encountering spirits or sensing the presence of loved ones who have passed away long ago. These are not signs of exhaustion or hallucination, but real experiences that these patients feel in the final moments of their lives. These experiences may be part of the transition from the physical world to the spiritual world, where departed souls come to greet us. Many patients share the feeling of presence of someone familiar. It could be a mother, father, grandparent, or a friend who has passed away. They feel the love and welcome from these loved ones, as if there is nothing to fear. These spirits not only come to share love, but also help us cross the threshold of death peacefully. Perhaps these spirits are indeed waiting for us, helping us overcome fear and exhaustion, and guiding us into a new world, a world we may have long forgotten, but will always find again. These stories raise the question of whether death is the end, or merely a transition into another realm, where we will reunite with loved ones, departed souls, and continue our journey. Death is a subject that not only instills fear, but also deeply stimulates curiosity in everyone. We often wonder, is death the absolute end of life? Or is there another world, a spiritual realm we enter when we leave this body behind? Strange stories about death, spiritual signs people experience before passing away, are not only subjects of faith, but also matters studied by scientists and experts in the spiritual field. Explaining from a scientific perspective. From a scientific perspective, death is considered the cessation of the biological functions of the body. When the heart stops beating, the brain ceases to function, and the organs no longer work. That marks the end of physical life. However, a big question remains. Is there something that follows after death? Is death truly the end? Or just part of a larger cycle that science has yet to explain? Phenomena such as strange lights, or the sensation of meeting deceased loved ones, like Julie's story, are not uncommon. According to scientists, these can be explained by biological theories. For instance, they argued that a lack of oxygen in the brain, or the release of chemicals such as dopamine and endorphins in the final moments, can create hallucinations. But can these hallucinations truly explain everything? One popular theory is that oxygen deprivation in the brain as the body nears death can lead to hallucinations. This lack of oxygen can trigger parts of the brain associated with memory and emotion, creating the sensation of meeting deceased loved ones or seeing strange lights. Chemicals in the brain, like dopamine and endorphins, can also cause feelings of happiness or a sense of alertness in the final moments of life. These substances can create feelings of peace, or even the sense of another world, a place free from pain and worry. However, scientists also admit that these phenomena cannot be fully explained. While there are biological theories, it is challenging to scientifically verify the spiritual experiences described by many patients. Some even believe that death is a transitional process, where human consciousness continues to exist even after the body has died. Spiritual perspectives on death, beyond scientific theories. Spiritual perspectives offer a completely different view of death. In religions and spiritual philosophies, death is not an end, but a transition to another state, a life without physical form. According to many beliefs, we are not just physical bodies, but also possess a soul, an invisible part connecting us to the universe and the spiritual world. Spiritual studies and religious teachings, especially in Buddhism, Christianity, and Hinduism, believe that death is a transition, not an end. Buddhism, for example, teaches that death is part of the cycle of reincarnation, birth, death, and rebirth, and that our souls will continue to live in another form depending on the karma we accumulate throughout our lives. One common spiritual theory is karma. Many believe that death is not just the end of a life cycle, but a transition into another cycle, where the soul continues to learn, develop, and may reunite with loved ones in a new life. The signs patients encounter, such as sensations of meeting deceased loved ones or seeing strange lights, could be evidence of an invisible world where souls reside after leaving the body. Spiritual researchers also argue that these experiences are not merely hallucinations. but spiritual journeys. They believe that in the final moments, humans may connect with another realm, where souls from the past still exist, and may welcome new souls as they cross the threshold of death. Science and spirituality, can they be combined? Although science and spirituality have different perspectives on death, they can complement each other in the quest to answer the question, is death the end? In reality, science can only explain the physical phenomena that occur when humans die, but it cannot fully account for the spiritual experiences witnessed by millions. Stories of light, visions, and feelings of reconnecting with loved ones suggest that death may be a transition, not merely the cessation of the body. For many, death remains a mystery and a challenge. However, stories of strange phenomena, messages from the other side, and connections between deceased souls strengthen the belief that death is not the end point, but part of an endless journey we will undertake. A journey we cannot fully see or understand while we are alive. When we face death, it is not just about loss, but also an opportunity to recognize valuable lessons about life. Death is an inevitable part of life, and perhaps it is the understanding of death that helps us live more fully, love more deeply, and cherish every moment we have. One of the most important lessons left behind by those close to death is live fully in every moment. Stories from patients who have experienced their final moments in life often convey profound messages about the value of time. A patient once shared that when she faced death, she realized that the things she once thought were important, money, fame, became meaningless. The only thing that remained was the love she had given and received. She advised her family, "Don't let the trivial matters in life make you forget what truly matters. Our time is limited. Love while you still can." What she thought was important, like work or money, suddenly lost its value. The only thing that remained was the love she gave to her family, friends, and herself. She reminded her loved ones, never let small worries dominate your life. Live to the fullest, and cherish the ones you love. Lessons from those near death. When someone is close to dying, they often feel that the most important things in life are love, connections, and simple moments with family. A patient once said, "When I was alive, I thought I needed to do so many things to prove my worth. But nearing the end of my life, I realized that the things I thought mattered most were actually the simplest: a smile, a hug, a moment with family." This is a significant lesson, reminding us that love and relationships truly hold more meaning than all the material achievements we pursue in life. Death teaches us that there is nothing more valuable than living a meaningful life, filled with love, forgiveness, and gratitude. Those who have passed away no longer have to struggle with stress, thoughts of success, or failure. They only wish to live with an open heart and gratitude for what they had in this life. How can we live a life without regret, free from fear of death? The answer is: live sincerely, love deeply, and don't let time go to waste. Every moment is an opportunity for us to learn, grow, and connect with those around us. Advice for you: don't fear death. Cherish life. Death is not something to fear. What is truly frightening is living without appreciating the moments we have, without loving, and without fully living. Those who have come close to death, when looking back, do not regret what they didn't accomplish, but rather the things they didn't take the time to do, words left unsaid, feelings left unexpressed. So, don't let fear control you. Don't let worries about death cause you to waste this precious life. Live fully in every moment. Love your loved ones. And don't hesitate to show your feelings. Death is not something we can control, but how we live is something we can choose. One piece of advice for those still living is: don't wait until you face death to start living. Live fully now, because only then will you truly feel the value of life and what you have. Love and connection are the only things that last beyond death. Stories from those nearing death also reveal a simple but profound truth. Love and connection are the only things that truly endure over time. When we look back on life, what makes us happy is not material possessions or achievements, but the love we have given and received. Patients in their final moments often speak about these things with a calmness we cannot possess while alive. One patient shared, "Death is not what I fear, but the feeling of being unable to say loving words to my loved ones. But now, I realize that love has no boundaries. It continues to exist even when we are no longer here." Those near death also often teach us that we cannot know for sure what happens after death. But what matters is how we live this life, and what mark we left on those around us. The only thing that remains after we leave this world is the memories, love, and connections we have built. Through strange stories and spiritual signs that science has yet to explain, we can feel that death is not just an ending. It may be a door opening to a new world, a place where love, connection, and our loved ones await us. Therefore, do not fear death. Live fully. Love wholeheartedly. And believe that when this journey ends, we will step into a new chapter filled with light and peace. Death might just be a transition, a journey into a new world, where we will reunite with the loved ones who have passed away. Death is not something to fear, but a gateway to a world we have yet to fully comprehend. And perhaps the souls of our loved ones will be waiting for us on the other side. Live each day to the fullest. Cherish what you have, and love those around you. Do not let fear of the uncontrollable rob you of your precious time. Believe that when the time comes for us to leave, a beautiful world will open, where we will no longer have to worry or be afraid. If you have ever experienced strange phenomena, or if you have thoughts about death and life after death, please share them with me in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. Remember, death is just the beginning of a new journey. Live with gratitude and love.